Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Hallmarkies podcast. And we're really excited today. We are talking with a director of the upcoming Hall Out the Halloween. Maclain Nelson is with us. We love talking with directors on the podcast. And Maclain, thank you so much for coming and talk with us.
Oh, so glad I'm here. Thank you, Rachel. I appreciate it. I'm all the way in Bulgaria, so it's
Oh my
hopefully the
gosh.
connection's good.
Yeah. Yeah. You're over there making a Hallmark movie, huh?
Yep, making another one. Got to keep them
Yeah.
coming, right?
That's exciting. So, this is your first time on the podcast. So, why don't you introduce yourself to our listeners? Tell us a little bit about how you got started directing.
Yeah, great. So I'm like I said, my name's Maclain Nelson. I've been directing for Hallmarks for since 2017.
Uh
I
huh.
got started kind of in the indie world. I was doing a bunch of indie projects. I did actually a couple of fantasy movies. And then I did this. I did a kind of a family drama that one of the executives at Hallmark saw, and it was an indie movie that made it into theaters, and she saw it, and I'll never forget. She contacted me and was like, "Hey, I liked what you did. I'd
Uh
love to
huh.
work. I'd love to work with you." And we did it. We did a project together. Her name's
Yeah.
Mary Beth Sprose. She's an amazing
Oh,
human,
okay.
and she just had a vision and liked what I had to offer. And next thing I knew, I was directing Hallmark movies. So
So, did you
it's
go to
been a
film
great ride.
school or
I
how did
did, but I
you?
I went I studied as an actor and as a writer, and then I sort of just kind of like grew into the director's role as I did every other job on set, including location managing and on-set
Yeah.
wardrobe and props and costumes, and I kind of did all the jobs, and so I definitely
Yeah.
learned from a multifaceted, approach.
Nice. So, yeah, I want to ask you about Once I Was a Beehive, which I think is the film you were referring to.
Yes, it
And
is.
and and so that is a real favorite. Obviously in Utah, it's a real favorite. But I was my co-host on the movie show was talking to him about that I was interviewing you, and he said that Once I Was a Beehive is his all-time favorite faith-based like Mormon film, Latter-day Saint
Wow,
film. Yeah,
that's high praise.
it
Wow,
would
very
be
cool.
up there for me if I was ranking
Well,
ranking
thank you.
the
I'm glad. I'm very
yeah
proud of it. It was a simple story, but the cast was amazing, and
yeah
and just it kind of taught me the value of like what it's the same reason people come back to Hallmark over and over is
yeah.
this they want something that feels good and is uplifting and has a great message, and that's what these movies do.
So it was based on your life experience, right?
Yes,
You and
yes,
Claire.
yes, yes.
Yeah. So how so did you write it?
Once I was a beehive, yes,
Yeah.
I did write it.
Yeah.
Yes,
So how
yeah.
did that all come about? How were you able, because it was only your second movie, right?
So that was my third. That one was it's sort of based on it's more actually mostly based on my mom was a camp director for years and years, and she would do these, summer, religious, Christian camps. And I saw how all out hardcore she was about it. And I just this story kind of came to my mind, and it couldn't leave me alone. And I was sort of like it was strange because I I didn't think I had any business doing a movie about women at summer camp, but I don't know. You just
Uh-huh.
you can't really deny the muse when an idea comes to you. So that's
Yeah.
that's sort of how it came to fruition. We got
Yeah.
a great team together, and obviously Lisa Valentine Clark and
Hmm.
and Haley Smith, and just an amazing team. So
Yeah. 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 Well, so you said that the Hallmark exec, the producer, contacted you. She saw the film, and that kind of
yes.
got you started. Did that start for both you and Claire?
Yeah, basically
Hmm.
that was kind of what got us both going there because you know, she had
Yeah.
we made a movie with Mary Beth, a modern adaptation of Little Women, and that was very impressive as well. And a bunch of the execs at Hallmark saw that, so kind of
Oh, okay.
got us both working. So
Ah. Did you two meet because of your like on a film or because of film or
um
you and Claire?
yes, we met in an acting class years ago.
Oh,
Yes.
nice. That's cool.
Ho, ho, ho. We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's the Hallmarkies Patreon.
Do you love Hallmarkies podcasts, especially at Christmas?
Do you enjoy the holiday previews, recaps, interviews, and bonus episodes?
If the answer is yes, please consider supporting the Hallmarkies Patreon. We need your help to do what we do both during the Christmas season and all year round.
But not only do you help a podcast led by strong, independent women by becoming a Patreon, you get to become a part of the Hallmarkies family.
Starting at only $2 a month as a patron, you will have access to our Facebook Patreon group where we talk about the movies, shows, and more all year.
We also have many monthly patron watch-alongs with guests like Lacey Chabert, Natalie Hall, Paul Campbell, Mary Lou Henner, and more, giving their behind-the-scenes details of their films.
As a patron, you also have the chance to provide input into the podcast and even join us at different tiers.
So this Christmas season, spread some cheer to the Hallmarkies Patreon and become a member today. You won't regret it.
Go to patreon.com/Hallmarkies to learn more.
That's patreon.com/Hallmarkies.
So the Haul Out the Holly series, it's more madcap than the typical Hallmark movie. Was that a challenge? Was that exciting? What was that like to
It
do
was
that?
it was super exciting. I got to write the script as well, which was so fun. And so I'm writing for these characters that I know and love, and I'm writing for these actors that I know and love, and really kind of, threading the needle between, making sure that it was heartfelt and we had like the real true, newly,
Yeah.
like the love aspect and the romance that we love in a Hallmark movie, but also being able to have the fun and the comedy and the humor, kind of blended in a way that one doesn't overshadow the other, which was
Mhm.
challenging, but at the same time a very good experience.
Yeah, it was a real change for Hallmark. It was something different that they don't often do. Is that they don't usually lean into the calm in the rom-com,
Yes,
which
that's
I
true.
appreciated
I
a
appreciate I
lot.
appreciate it too, because I the com is my favorite part of the
Yeah,
rom-com.
right.
My
Yeah, me
my
too.
background is in comedy. I used to have I had a comedy show on BYU TV for a while called Show Offs that was
Oh,
really
you did?
all about comedy, and so being able to use my comedy skills and my improv skills when I'm feeding lines to like Melissa Peterman, or she's
Yeah.
also coming up with her own as well. We have that improv gene together, so we're able to kind of cook up some magic. And all those actors are so great. I'll throw them a line at the last second, and a lot of those lines end up in the movie. You know what I mean? There's
Yeah.
so it's really fun having that kind of a really great comedic cast that just is okay to go with the flow. Especially even new cast like Kimberly uh, and Daniel. The couple
Yeah, that
from
was so
Halloween Town.
exciting. I
Yeah,
didn't realize that both of them were going to be in it. I
yeah,
was, I
it's
was,
great.
that was really
And they
fun.
did such a great job,
Yeah.
especially getting thrown into this cast that knows each other so well. Luckily,
Hmm.
her and Lacey are like happen to be
Oh,
best
yeah.
friends in real life, so all of a sudden that just you
Yeah.
know made it double down on all the fun and family aspect of it.
So these movies have been shot in Utah. And I'm just curious, what
Yes.
do you think is special about Utah that makes it great for filming movies?
What's great about Utah is honestly you're in one state you can have like so many different backdrops. You can have the desert. If you go down southern Utah, you have the red rock, you have the deserty, kind of like look of an
Yeah.
old west, or but if you go up north, obviously you have the mountains and you can have deep forests, you can have snowy mountains, you can have like what looks like, we did the home turf movie was supposed to be Ohio. So we kind of had to hide the mountains a little bit, but we had that Midwestern feel, because we have these old classic neighborhoods. So it's it's just a very like the topography is so diverse that you can kind of fake it for a lot of different places. And then what's nice is like for Hall Out the Halloween and the Hall Out the Holly series, we just played it Utah for Utah. So we didn't have to hide anything. And it was really fun. We mentioned like the point of the
Yeah.
mountain, and we mentioned like different landmarks that, he went down to Provo to go to, we even mentioned like they went certain, we'll mention real stores and real businesses,
Yeah, and one of
local
them
businesses. Yeah.
works for UVU. I
Yeah,
noticed
works for
that.
UVU. Yeah, we have one, the tailor-made. We talk about the tailor-made gift shop. We shot at the tailor-made. Our
Yes.
makeup artists, their family owns Micah Taylor. Their family owns TaylorMade, and it's just kind of a fun
Oh,
way to do that. Even we have these jokes. We mentioned this Train Insane, which is like this really amazing gym for a lot of women work out at, and my sister-in-law teaches at this. It's just you get
yeah.
it when you have specificity. I think comedy a lot comes with the real specifics. So when
Mhm.
these characters are able to name things and be very specific, it just adds a little
It was
level
fun.
of reality and fun to it.
Yeah,
So
I agree. Well, was it hard to pick the cul-de-sac for Evergreen Lane that you used?
the first time, yes, absolutely. Obviously, for the other two times, it was
Sure, sure.
it's already chosen. Yes, it was narrowed down to kind of two main neighborhoods, the one we used and one other one that was down in Provo, and both were great. They just kind of had different strengths for different reasons, and in the end, we chose the one, the Evergreen Lane everybody knows, a lot because of the proximity to Salt Lake and how close the homes were together. The other neighborhood was really great, but the street was a lot longer, so you couldn't really see all the homes at once. We would have had to kind of like move around. So it's kind of interesting to imagine how different the story would have been if we went somewhere else.
Yeah,
That street itself has just become its own character.
yeah. So with Haul Out the Halloween, was it fun as the writer of the project and the director to take the tropes of Christmas, but basically Halloweenify them? Like you have talked about the spirit of Halloween and the celebrate things like that.
Honestly, it was kind of interesting because Halloween has its own personality and it has its own
Uh-huh.
thing. I didn't really have to borrow too much from Christmas tropes. There are these things that you built in there. There's one that I sort of like. I don't know if this is a spoiler or not, but we talk about yard yelping. It's a term
Uh-huh.
that I created. I made it up, yard yelp. When I was a kid, I used to get really scared by, there would be somebody who would be like dressed, they'd be in a pile of leaves holding a bucket of candy, and it would look just like a dummy, like holding a bucket of candy, and it says, please take one. And if you took more than one, it's actually a real human in there, and they would jump out and scare you. And it was terrifying. And so I was like, oh, that's a tradition that people do. I know, a lot of people try to scare people. So I thought,
Yeah,
what could we call that? And so I came up with the term yard yelping.
I like
So
it.
like that's just one thing that like I just built into the story because as you sit down and ask people what are your different Halloween traditions, everybody's got their own kind of
Yeah.
set of things that they do, and it becomes, for some people it is their Christmas. For some people it's
Yeah.
their my two of my best friends, that filmmakers, that the Shimmicks, Christy and Steve Shimmick, like they have their Halloween party is something everybody looks forward to every year. And they're actually, Christy is like, has edited half the movies that I've made, including Once I Was a Beehive. And they're just they're the Halloween people. And you
Yeah.
find there are Halloween people. And I'm be really
Yeah.
interested to see how well this does for Hallmark,
Yeah.
because I think a lot of their fan base, obviously they all love Christmas, but like the love for Halloween is real and it's out there.
Yeah.
And and this really, you know, really pays tribute
Yeah.
to the people that love it.
Yeah, I think that it if anything, it can inspire a little bit more creativity than Christmas. Just I enjoy the process of planning my costume. I've already got I even considered wearing it for this interview, but it just didn't have time this morning. But I this year I'm going as Princess Buttercup from
Amazing.
yes, so I'm very
Amazing.
excited about that. That's going to be fun.
Yeah.
But it's you can be really creative. One year I did zombie Dear Evan Hansen. That was pretty fun.
Oh my goodness. That's great. I love Halloween. I remember I dressed up as, me and my friends all went to the local thrift store in Utah, and we bought a bunch of old like computer parts and machine parts, and we got like dryer duct hosing for arms, and we made ourselves evil robots. We were just these crazy evil robots, and it was
Yeah,
just, it's just so fun, the creativity that people put behind.
yeah,
And man, our costume team just absolutely hit it out of the park on this movie. The costumes in Hall at the Halloween are just incredible.
Yeah. Were you a little bit nervous about including some of the horror representation that you do on a Hallmark, like Freddy Krueger and the girls from The Shining and things like that?
You know, I kind of knew I wasn't nervous about. I knew we couldn't go super scary with them, but I felt like we could. You can't just ignore the horror elements completely, or it feels
Uh-huh.
like you kind of are just ignoring the whole holiday. So
Yeah.
I felt like we could do them and have references in a tasteful way. And we even have, I don't know if like, I'm a horror buff, actually. A secret horror buff.
Uh-huh.
I made my, in between my last two Hallmark movies, I made my own like horror movie about a giant spider.
Oh,
And it's
wow.
coming out next year. It's called Don't Move. I made it with James Murray from Impractical Jokers. It's
Oh,
gonna be
nice.
amazing.
Yeah.
But so I'm like, I love horror movies. I have to find a way to like make mention, or at least like give
Yeah.
nods to that. We have a mention to Chucky. We have a mention
Yes.
to the Babadook, which is, I don't know,
Oh, I didn't
Babadook
catch
was a
that.
very yes.
I love that film.
Stephen Tobolowsky, our Ned, he says, I'm keeping the home. I'll get rid of the animatronic Chucky, but I'm keeping the homemade Babadook. So
That's right.
as they're deciding what to put up, so we
Yeah.
we really tried to like pay respect to the
Yeah.
genre of horror, even though we weren't going super scary with it.
Yeah.
We made a lichen joke. I don't. Do you know what a lichen is?
Uh, is that I know. I don't.
A
I mean, I
lichen.
know the
It's
word,
okay.
but
So a lichen is like the technical name for a werewolf,
oh, okay. Oh
and in it,
yeah.
Richard Christie's character
Werewolf
is a
joke.
werewolf.
Yeah.
And we have this joke that it's very much a dad joke, but I like it. Melissa says, "Lichen or not,
Yes.
he's a generous guy." So anyway, I
Yeah.
think it's for the fans that understand the lore and kind of know the deeper, know a lot more about monsters and whatnot. Will really appreciate it.
Yeah.
But then the fan that's a little bit more just kind of like easygoing will still appreciate this movie.
Well, my favorite joke in the movie was the two-parter where you smash the jack-o'-lantern of love. You're smashing, and then later on when he says Jared did go all Billy Corgan on that pumpkin.
Oh, I'm
That
glad you
was
got that one.
that was very funny.
I'm glad you got that. I'm actually. I bet you only about 30% of our audience will get that because
There's a
and
lot of jokes. Like it's
yeah.
really funny.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Should we explain it to those who don't understand the Billy
Uh,
Corgan joke?
yeah. I
Billy
mean,
Corgan. If we probably went to high school at the same time, but
yeah, exactly.
Smashing Pumpkins was the band,
Yes.
and Billy
Huge.
Corgan is the lead singer. So like to go all Billy Corgan. Anyway, here's a kind of fun fact about that. So that scene, if you notice, it like we smashed a pumpkin, right?
Yeah.
But we shot this in April. There are no pumpkins available in April. You cannot find a pumpkin, let
Yeah.
alone 50 pumpkins that we needed for the pumpkin. Now notice we changed it to pumpkin painting contest because I realized we're not going to be able to carve pumpkins because they don't
Oh, yeah.
exist. We tried
Right.
sourcing them from like Australia, where the hemispheres were
Yeah,
different.
yeah, yeah.
That wasn't going to work. So what we did was we turned it to pumpkin painting, which we turned into a joke. You'll see it
Yeah.
when as you've seen it, but the listeners
Yeah,
will
that was
see what.
funny. Melissa Peterman.
Yeah.
It's
And
funny.
then what we did was we took a watermelon, we carved it out, hollowed it out. We painted it orange. Our props team was amazing. Painted it
Wow.
orange, took pumpkin seeds, dried pumpkin seeds, and the inside of like spaghetti squash, and filled this painted watermelon. So when it smashes like it's a real
No, I would
pumpkin.
not have
It
known.
looks real.
That
Yeah.
was that's very impressive.
So
That was very
we had
good.
a whole meeting. We had an hour-long meeting on how are we going to do this pumpkin.
Yeah.
And so it was just the team in Utah is great. And
Yeah.
there's such great crew there. And they've done this over and over. And so yeah, it's a great place to shoot.
We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's the Hallmarkies merch store.
Are you looking for that perfect gift for the postable, hardy, or Hallmarky in your life?
What about getting that t-shirt or hoodie that will help you stand out at your next holiday party?
Now is the time to check out the Hallmarkies merch store.
Full of festive designs by artists like Jessica Miller, Carrie from Hallmark Comics, and more.
You can even have more than just shirts, but totes, cell phone cases, notebooks, mugs, and more.
And it isn't just Hallmark. We have designs for Anna Green Gables, Man from Snowy River, The Nanny, and more.
Every purchase at the merch store goes to help support the podcast and allows us to make the great content you know and love.
There are frequent sales, so go to tpublic.com/stores/Hallmarkies or see the link in the description.
That's tpublic.com/stores/Hallmarkies.
I love
Did
it.
people like Melissa and Steven, did they ad lib a bit?
They will
Improv?
ad lib a bit. Yes, they'll ad lib. Like, I think actually probably Melissa does it the most. She likes to,
Yeah.
she likes to throw in a button, and we have these little button wars where she'll throw one out and I'll give her one, and then she'll do another one, and yeah, Steven does too. Steven likes, I think, to kind of come up with them before and pitch them to me, and
Oh,
then
yeah.
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So but yeah, it's so much fun for me to sit there by the monitor. And if I think of something, it's like you're able to give it to any of the different cast members. And, even Ellen Travolta, who's,
Yeah.
she's been doing this for so long. She's in her 80s and she's such a treasure, and she's quick, she's whip smart, and she has me on the floor laughing. It's just there's
Well,
just
was she just like totally up for being, DJ Frankenstein and the Boo Lady?
yes,
There.
absolutely.
She's
So
like, you want me to rap?
Yeah, well, because I had her rap. There's the joke in Hall Up the Holly 2 Lit Up where I have her. She thinks that there's a Christmas rapping contest, and so she says, "I'm gonna study
I forgot
Eminem's
about that. Yeah.
rap Christmas album, and for the rapping contest, because she doesn't realize it's a present rapping contest. So
Yeah.
I wrote a little rap the night before, and she rapped it the next day, and it was so funny.
Yeah.
And so I just thought, how funny. I think this is a good character thing. And she said, "Oh, Maclain, sweetheart, if you have me rap again, please at least send me the words long before, not the night before." And I did. I took about I wrote it about 2 weeks before, and she had time to learn the rap. And actually, everybody learned the DJ Frankenstein rap. And I think there's a longer version out there that we're going to release on social media.
Oh, that'd be funny.
Yeah.
You should do that. That would be really funny. Well, I'm just curious. So you've done more emotional Hallmark movies, like the Branching Out, and
Yes.
which would you say is harder or more challenging, the silly ones or the emotional ones?
Oh gosh, I think they're harder both are hard for different reasons. I'll tell you first why comedy's hard. Comedy is hard because there's comedy has so many different sides to it, right? There's so many different comic sensibilities. So in order to have a movie that has like a tone that fits from beginning to end, you really have to be able to kind of have this view from 1,000 feet in the air, because you can be on set and you can be laughing about a certain thing that's happening, but it might not fit with the tone of the overall movie. So
Right.
sometimes you have to tell an actor, like, please don't say it like that. And they're like, well, why? Everybody was cracked up on set. And I said, I know it was funny on set, but I'm looking at it from a bigger perspective. Like, it's funny in this one moment, but out of context, in context with what scene came before and what's after, it's not going to be. So you got to trust me, and you got to be able
Right.
to have that vision and not get stuck in that, in the moment piece where it doesn't fit in. And then you also have to be able to be open that if in that moment one you think is going to fit in the overall thing, that you have to be able to let it happen. So it's sort of, I think it's a little harder to really lock in on the tone of comedy, because it's really hard
Yeah.
to do, because there's timing, there's so many different elements to it. Whereas drama's hard because you have to keep it interesting, and you can't, you have to break these drama with some comedic moments, because otherwise it's just too sad the whole time. And if you
Mhm.
watch Branching Out, there's real moments of comedy in between. Like Sarah Drew and Juan Pablo de Pache did such a great job of kind of like riding the waves. And so, yeah, they're different. They're hard for different reasons. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe that's a non-answer. Sorry about that.
No, I think that's good. That's good. Yeah. Do you ever sort of start to lose confidence in the joke? Because you've heard it now, you've written it, you've gone over it, and it's like, is it still funny, or am I just?
I don't know. I not really. I don't think. Here's the thing. I'm willing to throw a joke away that I thought was funny at first, and then
Yeah.
if I do think it's not working as well, I just come up with another one. But sometimes I'll do it the way it was scripted and then come up with another one, because sometimes in the edit room, the editor finds a way to make it better. But I don't know. I'm fairly confident in my choices as far as like
Uh-huh.
what jokes are going to work and what tone's going to work. And then,
Yeah.
like I said, in the end, like if it's not working at all, I'd rather have a joke cut out completely than one that works sort of halfway. So I kind
Yeah.
of go for it. I kind of go for it on the comedy. I don't. I try to not really hold back.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
you got to
So
kind of like. And if you think it's funny, usually, as a director, if you really believe it, you can sell it
yeah.
to your audience.
So what would be your pitch to the Hallmarkies listeners? They should check out Haul Out the Halloween. They'll like it.
My pitch is, what's great about it is even if you're not a fan of the first two movies, even if you haven't even seen the first two movies, I wrote and designed this so that it may be more exciting to someone who knows these characters already, but we also kind of get a reintroduction to everybody again. So even if it feels like you're coming late to the party, it's still an amazing party. And
Yeah.
then then you can go back and watch the other two. So I think what it does is it's opening a world. If you haven't seen it yet, it's opening up a world, and now you're able to kind of join this cul-de-sac of people that love the holidays, you know,
Yeah.
after being introduced to it. But if you've already seen the first two and you really know how much fun we've been having, I think it's even gonna it turns up the laughs, it turns up the heartwarmingness to a level that we haven't really seen before, and we really start caring. And I mean, there's a couple of scenes in there between Jared and Ned who are kind of frenemies that like almost bring me to tears, because you see this true like male friendship, and you see this, and there's also a scene between him and his mom, Jared and his mom, that is, and with Laura Wardle, who's in a we all know how great of an actor Wes Brown is, but Laura Wardle really got to shine in this, and she's a local actor that we found in Utah, and she's just a gem, that's there and is able to just bring out a great performance. And her role got a lot bigger in this one, and I'm not going to tell anyone why, but
Yeah.
I think we're in for a treat. And I hope this isn't the last we see the Lane. I have many more ideas. I sort of built into the writing of this like the possibility of
Yeah.
another sequel. And so anyway,
That's great.
I love this Lane, and I love this cast. They're just Lacey's such a great champion of everybody, and everyone, we would follow her anywhere.
Yeah.
And she really anchors this film, and she's so funny. I'm so proud that I get to, like, you know, sh- to really showcase her comedy, because
Yeah.
she does a lot of she does the heartfelt stuff so well.
Yeah.
But there was a time she even told me when we did the first one, like, I don't really get to do the funny stuff anymore. And I said,
Yeah.
okay, we're gonna change that.
I'm glad.
We're gonna give you those opportunities, and she just nails them.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah. All right.
yeah.
Well, real quick, we have some rapid fire get to know you questions. We
Okay.
like to end the interview with. First
Okay.
one, what is the best ice cream flavor?
Pistachio.
Good. What's your favorite color?
Blue.
What music are you into?
The band, The Format.
Okay, you're not a Nickelback fan, like in a All Out the Halloween.
I don't hate Nickelback. That's kind of why I mean, I'm glad. I feel like I was the first to bring back the making the reverse making fun of Nickelback, but actually somebody liking them. It started to happen, but anyway.
What is your go-to date night food?
Sushi.
Oh, good choice. What is your go-to date night activity if you're going out doing something?
Going to a movie or a comedy show.
Oh, nice. Okay. Which do you like better, dogs or cats?
Dogs.
Good. Which do you like better, beaches or mountains?
Beaches with the
Good.
mountain like behind it, like LA.
Yeah. What's your favorite holiday to celebrate?
That has to be Christmas.
Yeah. It's tough to beat Christmas because it's like a whole season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Last question. And you can say one of your own if you want. What's your favorite Hallmark or romantic movie?
I'm gonna say I think The Princess Bride's pretty romantic. That's my favorite.
It's a good choice. Very quotable as well. Very quotable.
Yes.
So
Yes.
very good. You did it. Answered all the questions.
Yay.
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 Thank you so much, especially being there in Bulgaria, taking the time to talk with us. I
Oh,
really
for
appreciate
sure.
it.
For sure. I hope it makes sense why I'm in an old train car. I'm
Yeah,
excited for people to see this one. It's
gonna
going
be
to be really
fun.
great.
Yeah.
So,
So do you have social media or anything like that you want to share with listeners?
yeah, it's just my name at Maclain Nelson.
Great.
It's
I'll have
I'm on
that.
Instagram. Yeah.
I'll have that in the description. And great job with the movie. And it's great to meet you.
Yes, you too. Take care,
Happy
Rachel.
Halloween.
Yes, happy Halloween.
We'd like to thank Maclain for coming on the podcast. This was super nice of him, especially him being overseas and everything like that, shooting to make time for us. It's very, very nice. I hope you all enjoyed it. Let me know what you think of all the things that we talked about in the comment section. You can follow me at Rachel's Reviews, all over social media, iTunes, YouTube, and on Rotten Tomatoes. And make sure you're following the podcast at Hallmarkies Pod and Hallmarkies Podcast all over social media. And make sure you check out our playlist with all of our director interviews. We have a bunch over the years that we have done. So definitely take a look at that. And also, if you are listening on iTunes, please leave your ratings and reviews. That really, really helps us a lot. It helps people to find the podcast and the algorithm. And if you are watching on YouTube, please give the video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Getting closer and closer to 10K subscribers, and that would be awesome to get there. Most of our viewers on YouTube are not subscribers. So if we even got like a small percentage of those viewers to subscribe, it would help us out so much. So please, please like and subscribe. And then we have our Patreon group, which is the biggest way you can support everything that we're doing. We have our monthly patron events with Q&As and watch-alongs and other fun things. We have our bonus episodes that you get. We have the Facebook group, lots of fun stuff. So definitely please check out the Patreon. And then the merch store, where we have tons of fall, holiday, Christmas, movie inspired merch. So take a look at that. And thanks again to Maclain, and we'll talk to y'all later. Bye.